And yeah, so that's why I started this channel. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please subscribe. And I hope you saw the last video. So now this is the next day. I want to show you some things that I'm doing just to kind of keep my hair. These are different things that I haven't traditionally done. Now, I always wrap my hair. But when I wrap my hair, I usually put a scarf, like a silk or satin scarf on it. And let me see if I think I took the scarves and put them there. Well, you know, a silk or satin scarf. I usually leave them in here, but I took them out of here because I stopped wearing the scarf because I learned that the reason I have problems with my temples is because wearing that scarf and wrapping it up, it is causing damage on my temples, and it causes like that pain there too. And so I've learned how to avoid that. So I'm going to share that with you today, and this is the day after I did the first video, the test video. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put it up here somewhere on the screen. Go and check that out. That video is just nothing but a raw video of me. Have on my pajamas. I'm wearing my pajamas today, y'all. And so I had on my pajamas, and it was not something, when I started to post the video, it was not something I was going to post on YouTube at all. So please have some grace for me. It was a very uncensored video. And I don't even think I was wearing, I'm not even going to go there. Just check it out, and I put the music behind it because I was listening to my own music and doing my own thing, and so I didn't want to have any copyrights or anything like that. So I kind of silenced myself, put some music on in the background, and you just watch me flat iron my hair. It was blow dried, and all I was showing you is how I flat ironed. I didn't show you shampooing or conditioning or any of that, just flat ironing. Today is the next day from that video. So as I said, normally I wrap my hair, flat iron, and I wrap it in a silk or satin. I have two silk scarves, and then I also have several satin scarves, and I would tie my hair in the front, and then yet I would have these temple things here, and I've had that all this time and didn't realize that pain was because of the pressure from tying that. I guess I've been so used to it, I never really questioned it. And then I saw, as I've been on my journey to regrow my hair, I saw women talking about that. And so I got the solution. What they say is several things. I also sweat in my hair. So they said what you should do is get one of these things where you will flatten down your ends, like, you know, one of these, you know, you get these things here, and you put it around your ends. So I have one here, which is a satin one, and I'll show you that when I take it down. So I got that, and then another trick that I like for individuals who sweat in their hair or sweat overnight, you can use a hair net. Here's one, is a net here. This won't keep it as flat. And then this is like a scarf hair net as well. And you can also put this on your hair just like any scarf. See how it's made into it's made into a triangle. And you can just wrap your hair up like that. I've used either one, but keep it, and so when you know, just like a satin scarf, when you tie it in the front, this is less tension on your temples if you tie it in the front. You don't have to tie it in the front. You can tie it in the back and, you know, wrap it under, and so this is one net scarf that I use when I'm wrapping my hair. And then here's another one. It's just a net cap. See, it's just a net cap. This is another one here. Right? And either one you can buy from Amazon. And I find that it allows my hair to breathe, and I'm not sweating as much. Now this here is the thing that I wrapped around my edges. I tried that the first time. You see how it is? You can get that from Amazon. It's just a satin thing that's kind of similar to this one. You wrap around your edges, right? These don't work well for me. The reason I got this one, because this one here makes me sweat. This whatever material it is, it makes me sweat around my edges. So I didn't use this. And I bought this one because I thought it wouldn't make me sweat, but this makes me sweat too. I really don't need these wrapped around my edges at all. It just kinks up my edges unnecessarily. And so what I'm going to start doing is just using the net. So I don't really need anything around my edges. And this works just fine. Now I could put it around the edges. This might slide. This won't slide off the top. It might slide on the back. But I don't care about that because I can just brush the back down and it'll be okay. So this is how it looks the next day. And this is what I do to wrap it. And all I do is just wrap my hair all around. As you can see, it's wrapped. And so I just take it down. And so as I can see, it is still nice and silky and straight. My hair does have some length to it. But as you can see, the ends are very thin. As you can see, the ends are a lot thinner than the top. Than the root, rather. The root and the mids are thicker than the ends, and that is because I caused some damage to my hair when I had that flat iron on 500, and I did it by mistake. It wasn't intentional, and so 2 different times I didn't even know it was on 500, and then I put on my glasses and I saw the dial and I realized I had done damage to my hair. This side is thinner than this side. And you can just see kind of like the flatness of the hair, and on the ends they're very light. And so that is my hair trying to recover from that damage, right? All these years I've been doing my hair, I've never done heat damage to my hair. My hair has always had a curl pattern. And so I do not follow the philosophy of a lot of these individuals who think just because you wear your hair with flat iron or heat or whatever, that it is going to damage your curl pattern. It's just not true. You just have to know what you're doing. Now, if you don't know what you're doing and you mess up like me, now I don't care. I can throw my hair up in braids and I'll be just fine. But as you can see, the ends are thinner, and this is where I would just trim all of that off and trim it into some kind of a, I didn't wear a white t-shirt. I'm supposed to be wearing a white t-shirt now. I didn't trim my hair this time, and I'm not going to trim it. Usually I'll trim it and then that's going to bring my hair up, right? But I'm trying to regrow it without trimming it. Now somebody will tell me, well, your hair is going to break off, your ends are going to break off. But what we're supposed to be doing with our ends, regardless, is moisturizing the ends. All of these ends here, you see these straggly ends? See how it's just kind of clear through here? Okay, this is what I'm supposed to be moisturizing every day with oil, those ends. Because these ends are not protected by the cortex, and that's why your ends get frayed and need to be trimmed. So if you think of the ends of your hair, or your full hair, as like a 3-string cord, and you cut the end of that cord, the end of that cord is going to fray, right? Because, it may not have a protective plastic or cortex or layer around it. So if you cut it, it's going to be frayed at the end. That's the same as our hair. That's what I'm learning. And so it doesn't matter if you trim your hair. That next under there is going to get frayed. And it gets frayed because it's not protected. So the key to keeping your hair from getting the ends getting so bad is to keeping them moisturized. Now I'm looking at this. I don't know if you can see that with the white there. Now I would trim that off to say, oh, well, you know, let's just trim it so it can all be kind of thick on the ends. I'm not going to trim it off. I'm just going to leave that there. And what I'm going to do is oil the ends. Now I want to oil the ends of my hair. I'm going to do that every morning. So I wrap my hair really good and I'm going to oil the ends of my hair regardless of whether I am flat ironing it or not. And when I'm wearing it in braids, whether I'm flat ironing it or whatever, I'm going to oil the ends of my hair. And I've been doing that for weeks now, and my ends look healthy and good. The reason they're thin is because of that time when I made the mistake of leaving that dial on the flat iron. That mistake will never happen again. That's how I caused some damage to the ends of my hair. So pretty much all like around here should be fuller. It should be fuller, but it's not. It's thinned out because of that damage. And when I wet my hair, you can see that curl pattern really loose versus up here, I have a tighter curl pattern. So when we're working with those heat instruments, we have to really pay attention, especially those of us who are of a certain age. We're getting older. My eyes can be very foggy and blurry. Put on your glasses and read the dial before you put that tool in your head, on your hair. Put on the glasses and make sure that is on the dial. See, it was easier with the older flat iron, and it's the Babyliss flat irons, so they're good flat irons, but they're also titanium. And so titanium, you have to be careful with using titanium heat in your hair. And so you don't want to leave that heat in that hair that long when you're doing your 1, 2, or 3 passes. I do around 1 to 3 passes. If I'm not trying to get it silky straight, I'll just do 1 pass and let it go. I did 3 passes yesterday, pretty much 2. I do more passes in the root because the roots can get really kinky, and even with blow drying, my roots are very full. So I do several passes at the root, and then I will do like 1 or 2 passes, and then I'll come back with a kind of like a bump at the end. So that'll be a 3rd pass, but that 3rd pass is pretty much my putting this little bump here. You see this bump in my hair that gives it like a little bit of curl. I'm trying to achieve a straight look, and I'm going to keep flat ironing it straight because I feel like the straighter it is, it'll be more conducive to curling versus keeping it in braids and that kind of stuff. Now, once I'm done with my hair being, flat ironed or silky straight, once it goes and I'm no longer wearing it, I'm going to put it in braids. But even when I put it in braids, I'm still going to be washing it, conditioning and moisturizing it, deep conditioning it well, adding the protein as well, making that balance between the protein and the moisture. And I'm going to be taking care of these ends and making sure these ends get some oil on them. And you see how these ends are straight and they're not unhealthy, they're not breaking, they're very strong. It's because I've been oiling them and really focusing on oiling the ends. Even when you have it in silky straight, oil the ends. And what I use is Moroccan oil. It's expensive, but you don't need to use a lot. Okay? You don't need to use a lot. As my hair gets older, I also put on the black Jamaican oil. I have it here. Oh no. Jamaican oil. Where's my black Jamaican oil? It's here. Here it is. I've been using it. It's just a little left in there. I'm trying to find the bottle, the container, so you can see it. most people who's watching this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Here it is. And what I do is pour that into one of these little things. It's just a little bit left. Here, I can pour some more in there. And when my hair gets older, I add that on. When you're doing your silk press, keep in mind that when you are putting oil on your hair, it's going to weigh your hair down. So we're talking about drops. We're not talking about gobs. We're talking about drops of oil on your ends. We're not talking about being heavy-handed and putting a ton of oil in your hair, because then it's going to weigh your hair down. And so I just added into one of these applicators. So I'm not going to put this on right now because it's a little heavier. Now with Moroccan oil, you have this kind here. And I'm going to use this one today. This is one Moroccan oil. It's lighter than this one. This one's a little heavier, okay? And so you just take a few drops. And I'm going to take that and put it right on my ends. Again there. Put it right on my ends. Right? Let's do a little twist. You can also use a serum. You can also use a serum like Silk Infusions by Chi. You can also use a hair serum as well on your ends to stay more moisturized. Now, my hair ends tend to get really, really dry. Not everyone has that type of hair like mine where your ends get really bad. My ends get really bad. And if you have that type of hair where your ends get really, really dry and bad, then you might want to start putting, is this on? Is this open? Yeah. You might want to start putting some oil in your hair. There it is. This is a lot. I don't want that much. This is a heavier oil than that one. And just put it on the ends. Just take my ends. You see my ends here? Just put it on there. And I do this religiously to protect my ends. And that oil is what's going to, because you don't have that cortex there, that oil is what's going to help protect that. Okay? That's going to help those ends. These are really good oils. That's why they're expensive. They're very highly concentrated. So don't let the dollar amount, keep you from using that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't put the oil on and then just start combing my hair, because then that oil is going to get into the other part of my hair. I just do the ends. You see how I'm doing these ends? Make sure you get the back. You just take that part, just kind of twist it, sit. And I do that every morning when I take my hair out of the wrap. And this is what I'm going to be doing when I have the silk wrap. And you do it every day. I don't add heat to my hair. After I did that one heat, that's it. I don't do anymore. Here's another one, just one drop here. Because that other oil is very heavy. And it comes out heavy. Don't forget to get the back part. Here's the back. You can just go to the back and just kind of put it on there. putting that oil on the ends of your hair. Don't comb through it after you do it, because when you comb through it, that oil is going to transfer to the rest of your hair, and your hair is not going to be light anymore. Okay, and then there's another one. Oh, I don't like the pump, but there it is. That was very good. I don't like the pump because I can't really control that as much. See, right in there. And just get in there on the ends. That protects my ends. And I've noticed as I'm doing that, I just go through the hair and just put it through the ends. Because my hair has been in layers, my ends are up into the hair as well as at the ends, right? You get what I'm saying? See, like up here, I got some layers up here. It's starting all to grow into one length, but, and so I just leave it like that and just let that oil soak in. And as your hair gets older, what I also like to do is this. I'm careful with my hands and stuff getting in my hair because that oil is going to get all into the part that's silky and bouncy, and we don't want that, okay? We just want that hair, want it on the ends. Another thing that I do, I have problem areas in my hair that I'm trying to get back into condition as well. Let me wipe my hands off and I will show you those problem areas, because I'm going to apply some light oil to that as well. So I'm just watching a lot of that oil off my hands because I want to go into my hair and manipulate it, and I don't want to get all that oil into my hair. See the roots and stuff, I want that to still stay silky straight. I just want my ends to be oiled. And I'm going to show you another trick with your ends that I learned, and I think I'm going to do that today too. And you have to really, really pay attention to those ends in order to get those ends nice and moisturized. And you don't want to forget about the back. See here, see there it is. So I'm not combing through. I was getting ready to comb, but once I comb through and I get that oil there and then comb back in, I'm going to mess that part up, and so I don't want to do that. Okay, so what I want to do, I wash my hands. I wash the oil off my hands. I keep all my clips and stuff, I keep in bags, because I used to just have them sitting out there in my drawer. And when I would do that, you see how I'm being careful? I don't want that oil to get in my hair. I just want to pull this back here and separate that, okay? Being very careful. And see, I'm learning to be very, very careful with what I do with my hair as well. But I just want to hold this back. I don't want any of that oil on the ends to get into the hair. Now this is my problem area here. And I'm going to show you how there's breakage there and how I'm going to try to nurse this back in. Okay, so you see my temples and everything, that's the kind of, it gets real dry. So my problem areas are here on the edges. It gets real dry. And what was not working for me was wearing that satin or silk scarf and tying it up there. And then I would sweat up there, as well as I think along with the sweat and the tension of that scarf, it would always keep my edges here a little broken. You see that? These are my edges there. And so what I want to do is take some of the lighter oil, not the heavier, but the lighter Moroccan oil, just put like a drop, and then just kind of rub that on my edges. Just kind of get that going on my edges. Now, all of this oil I'm putting on here can cause my silk press to go back. So when I do this, I want it to get onto my edges and on my hair, and then I just want it to sit, and then I'll come back in and just kind of style my hair with my fingers, right? And so we're just putting this on the edges here. You could put it throughout your hair as your hair gets older and gets drier and you want some shine in your hair. You can either use that Moroccan oil. It's a lot oilier than this. You only really need the Silk Infusion, but because I like the Moroccan oil, and I've been finding that works well with me. That's what I'm using. And so I just want to kind of get some oil on that part. Then there's the part in the back that I was trying to show you. Like, you couldn't hear me because I had the music on. But in the back of my hair here, I'm trying to be very careful not to get all of that oil in my hair. But I'm going to pin that up there. Back here is where my hair broke off when I used that heat thing. That's where the heat damage got really bad right in there. And so I want to take some of this hair oil and just put it on the ends of that part as well. And just go through the back in the kitchen, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Right? And I know it looks crazy, but I do that, and I just let that oil sit. And then after the oil sits, and it gets absorbed into the hair, it's still going to be oily. You still have to be careful, especially if you have your silk press and you still want your bounce and all of that with your silk press. You want to make sure that you're not manipulating the oil and all of that in your hair. But you see how that gets really, really dry. It's really, really, really dry. And so this oil is going to help bring that back. And so when I am conditioning my hair and doing all the things for my hair, I am really working on these, concentrating and focusing on these parts of my hair that need work. I'm really focusing in on that. And this is my journey. We want to see if these changes that I'm making, is this going to cause any difference in my hair? And if I don't trim my hair, will my hair grow past the waist length? Things of that nature. So it is a myth that black women's hair does not grow. My hair used to grow longer than my shoulders. It's past shoulder length now, especially in the back, but it's not thriving because I have not been really paying attention to the growth. I just, when it starts getting straggly on the ends, I just really trim it, and then I layer it and then go. I've never really paid attention to growing it myself past shoulder length. Like I said, it's always done that when the professionals were doing it. But then when I started doing it myself, I just never thought about growing it out longer, let alone waist length. I don't know if my hair will grow waist length. And I think these are some of the myths that we are fighting when it comes to our hair. We think that only certain black women that have a certain rate of hair, that their hair grows a certain length. You know, we buy into all of these different lies. Okay, so now you see this. This was a lot shorter than it was. This problem area right here was a lot shorter. So this, just from doing what I've been doing, has made it grow out. Okay, this was all the way up there into the kitchen, just broken off from that 500-degree flat iron that I mistakenly put in my hair. And so that was the part that broke. Thank God all of the other areas did not break off. And this part was damaged before that with the wrapping up my hair. But when I wear my hair down, it's very thick, so you can't really see these parts. You see them when you get to the ends of my hair. And keep in mind, for the past month, I started this regimen with the ends and the oil and stuff like that. So I've just been doing it for a short period of time. But I'm already seeing changes in my hair since I've been doing it. So I do my hair, I wrap it up, and then every morning I'm doing this regimen with putting the oils in my hair. And I allow that oil to absorb in my hair, and then once it absorbs, I style it and go. I don't want to style it right away before it absorbs, because then it's going to take away the heaviness or it's going to add more heaviness to the flat iron, which I wanted to stay light. Another thing I learned is once you flat iron your hair, do not flat iron again. Like, I'm not going to go in. You see how the roots, because I put that thing around my edges, and it caused all this front part here to get really, you know, sweaty. And so that's why it's real thick here, and it's thick on the top here. So the professionals are saying, do not heat your hair within 3 days of your putting heat on your hair. So my hair was blow dried, I flat ironed. Blow drying is putting heat in your hair, and flat ironing is putting heat in your hair. And there are ways we have to do that, and I'll talk about that in another video. There are ways that we should be blow drying our hair. It should not be getting too hot, because that's still heat and that can cause heat damage. As well as your flat iron, you want to make sure it's at a certain temperature so you don't cause damage to your hair. So all of those things we can talk about in another video. But that heat, you're not supposed to add heat to your hair until 3 days after it's. When I wear the satin scarf or the silk scarves, I don't really sweat so much in the front, but it does cause tension up there, which is why I chose this. No tension, very comfortable. My hair does not get frizzy or anything because of the net or the holes. It holds my wrap very well, and I will eliminate this because of the sweat. And because of that, you might want to have a tendency to go back into your hair and flat iron that and straighten it. Don't do it. They say do not put heat in your hair within 3 days of putting the heat. So you won't do that until 3 days later. I don't suggest it because 3 days from now I'm going to have all these oils, my own sweat, and all that stuff in my hair. I wouldn't go and put a hot iron or a blow dryer or anything in my hair with all of that in my hair, right? So once I do my flat iron style, that's that. I wear it as long as I can. It usually lasts a week, but I like to take my long baths and exercise and stuff, and so my roots get really, really wet, especially when I exercise. So I can't really wear this style any longer than a week. What I end up doing is either putting some curlers in it and curling it, and so the roots will be very thick and full of sweat from working out or taking my baths or getting in the sauna or the hot spa or whatever. The roots will be very kinky, but since my hair is so heat trained, the ends stay straight. And so I'm able to curl it, and it still looks like I have a curl or something like that. So I can extend my flat iron for weeks just putting curlers in my hair. Once I'm tired of doing the curlers and all of that, is when I will wash it really good, wash my scalp real good, nurture it really good with deep conditioning, and then I'll put it in braids. And then that's when I'll either break out with the wigs. I don't wear wigs every day. I only wear wigs if I'm going somewhere or something like that. Usually it's just braided. You know, nobody sees it but me. And it's not the best of braids either. It's just cornrows or some twists or something to keep my hands and feet out of it. So yeah, that is the video for today. I'm trying to think of anything else. I'm going to allow this oil from the edges and the back and on the ends to absorb, and it looks like it's already absorbing, and you can tell when it's absorbing because it's not as sticky as it was, and you know, it starts refreshing back again. It's absorbing into the hair, and what I'm going to do is come back and have the final style, and that's it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I feel like there's oil there, but I feel like it is absorbed long enough. Shouldn't take that long. You can tell when that fresh oil. Let's just get this back one here. Take this clip out. And I'm just being very careful with not touching my ends and touching my hair and all of that. And so what I just want to do is kind of bring it down. Put my clips away. I'm just going to comb it down. I'm going to pay attention to my combing it. I still don't want to comb these ends until later. by the end of the day, the oil will have been absorbed in my hair, and I want to scratch that. It will be been absorbed in my hair, and I'll be able to comb on it, and it won't worry. So I just comb the top. See, the top doesn't have that oil, and I want that top to stay loose and good. See, this is where all of that, sweating in my hair and all of that came from. So just doing that. I feel like I want to scratch my scalp. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to do that. Just comb the top part, right? So that's combed, right? And then I'll come down to the ends and just comb the ends separately, right? Comb the ends separately, bring them down. So that way the ends stay moisturized and the top do not get, I don't mix that in with the top. Comb those ends down. You see that? So the top doesn't get the oil in there as much. Now you might want to put some chia bear on the top to kind of lay some of those things down. That's okay too. I don't really like to put it in because it weighs my hair too heavily, but just a tiny amount. Oh, see how it comes out? Just a tiny amount I can rub here and just kind of place up there to get those flyaways and add some shine to the top. That's how you'll add your shine to the top with your cheek, with your silk amino acids is what really is in there that's really good for your hair. So I just put that on there, and then that's it pretty much. That's my hair. So I'm working on trying to get it fuller on the ends and protecting those ends, and yeah, that's all. So I am so glad to do another video. Welcome to my channel, and to all of you all who are visiting, I am sending out prayers for you, that you also embrace your total you. Don't allow anyone on these social media streets or in any medium make you feel bad about who you are, the woman God has created you to be, the beauty that He has given you from within out. You see, beauty comes from within out. We're so busy looking on the outward side that we forget that the true beauty is in the core of who you are and who God created you to be. So as we embrace our womanhood, those of us who are women of a certain age, growing older, embrace who God has created you to be. And a lot of these things that we are, God will keep us informed and keep us in the know of how to continue to stay in complete wholeness and wellness. And that's part of the journey, right? Yeah, that's part of the journey. So yeah, the goal is try to get all of this full on the ends, keeping that protected and allowing it to just see how long it can grow. That's going to be a task for me because I've never done that before. And so I'm really excited about this journey. And you'll be with me all the way to the end. If I make a mistake and burn out my hair or whatever, you're going to be right there with me. And so you'll embrace me and pray for me to stay on the journey and to finish this out to the end. And the whole thing is about just having some fun. It's getting hot in here, so I'm going to open this window. Just having a little fun and doing something that is not just so serious, but that's meaningful. And I think it's meaningful to embrace who you are and your beauty and everything. So, yeah, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time, and God bless.